knowing where everything is, making sure you have plenty of extra supplies. Here's some fun little pictures. This is my diabetes box, as I like to call it, and it has all of my sites and cannulas and testers and strips and everything that you guys are all very familiar with. So lots of supplies, as well as here's a picture of my living room with all of my other fun things that go in my dorm room. So one thing I would definitely suggest, organization. Of course, always being prepared for the unexpected, taking extras of everything, and knowing where everything is, which I will talk on more in a little bit. So here are some pictures of my room, my dorm. As you can see, dorm rooms aren't necessarily huge. However, that's my bed that I slept on, my roommate's bed. One thing that I've learned through living in the dorms is organization as well as utilizing space. And so like for my roommate and I, we like to have things as clean as possible, organized, and everything in their set spot, which was really helpful. So here's some fun pictures of my roommate and I. This is my roommate Renae. We have the same name, just so happened. This was on our last day of school this year, actually, and the other picture is with Renae and my friend Elizabeth at the first week of school, my sophomore year. So I feel very fortunate to have met some really amazing friends in college, and lifetime friends that I can see myself with forever. They're very supportive, not only with me having diabetes, but as just non-diabetic support too. So diabetes related and non-diabetes related. You meet some incredible people in college. Here's some fun little pictures of some friends and I, Voodoo Donuts in Portland. If you guys have ever been to Portland, gotta go to Voodoo Donuts. Our first grocery trip, of course, buying healthy snacks for the first week of school, and our first off-campus dinner with some friends and I. Also, for you Bachelorette fans, this is a couple of pictures of me meeting Chris and Des from The Bachelorette. Chris graduated from my college, and so I got the opportunity to meet them with some friends of mine at school, and just goes to show that there's some fun things in college that you might not be able to experience elsewhere, so to enjoy every moment. Getting involved is very important, so a good way to meet new people, and so here's some pictures, different activities. Try new things in college. Like, you're only in college once, so try new things that you may not try ever elsewhere. Here's some pictures of myself and my friends and I at Pilot Soccer game. Here's my roommate and I volunteering at the Pancreatic Cancer Walk. I also was on the UP club tennis team. I played tennis in high school as well as Darshana. And so I decided to join the club tennis team for my university. And it's fun. We have practices a couple times a week, and we have some tournaments that are really fun to be involved with, meet new friends. And then another picture of my friend and I volunteering at Relay for Life. Also, one thing I wanted to mention was like going away to school, especially to Portland. It's pretty far from home, and so I was really skeptical just like of having that home base. And one thing I realize now looking back is like family will come and visit you. So I had my cousins have come and visited my family, my mom and dad, my brother of course, and also this happened this last semester. My really good friend came and visited me back from back home. So that just a little extra support and encouragement I've found has been really nice, and a good thing. All of the support that's here with you guys, they don't disappear when you go away to college. So, diabetes related, a couple stories related to diabetes. This past fall, my pump got this motor error. I don't know if any of you guys have had this error happen before, but I wasn't really sure what it meant. I called my mom. She's like, okay, call Medtronic. So I called Medtronic, and it ended up being a pretty serious error where they had to overnight me a new pump, 24-hour shipment back up to school. And so with this new pump, I had to transfer all of my new basal rates and all of my settings over from my old pump. So this kind of was a reiteration to always have those settings written down on a hard piece of paper, because my pump could have failed like that, and it would have been really scary because honestly I didn't have all of those written down. So that's just one little thing, that little bump in the road ended up working fine, but to make sure to write down those settings. Also, in addition to that, just like this all happened in a very busy time during midterms, and so the stress of everything, studying and all of that, as well as the stress of having to switch over pumps, just kind of reiterated that diabetes always comes first no matter what, and so to prioritize ended up working out fine. Another little story, so I've woken up in the middle of the night, both high and low, and away at college, and so just of course I always have glucose in my tester right by my bedstand. In the cases of being low, I would have glucose, of course, and I have had to change my site in the middle of the night if I've woken up high and knowing my site wasn't working properly. And that kind of touches back on knowing where everything is, because in the dorms, if your roommate's sleeping, I don't want to turn on all the lights. So I was really organized, knew where my sites were, knew where my insulin was, and just the whole organization was really big with that. And lastly, little things, I've a couple times I've forgotten my tester and my purse with all of my diabetes stuff in it in my dorm, rushing off to class a little bit late, and I've forgotten that in my room. Thank goodness living in the dorms, my dorm was pretty close to school, so I could run back and get my stuff or text my roommate, have her bring it over. Just like things like that, always being prepared, having extra supplies with you at all times in your backpack, purse, whatnot. So, some advice or things that I have found as I've gone away that have helped me manage my diabetes to the best of my ability. For my parents and I, since I'm not very local, I would text my parents every night and every morning with my blood sugar, just to kind of touch bases, make sure everything's on track. And my parents found this very, very helpful, but I also did, because it kind of, helped me. When you test, you get to that point where it's just so reiterated, but then when I'm actually texting that number, I'm like, okay, and then kind of it helps to see patterns in the morning or at night. So this I found really helpful, and that worked well for me. Also, as I've mentioned, having your supplies in convenient locations. In the dorm room, most nowadays, every dorm has a fridge, but having my insulin in the fridge, making sure you and your roommate have a fridge to keep your insulin in, of course. Also, as I kind of think I mentioned maybe, I wore the CGM, which is the continuous glucose monitoring system, and I wore that at school quite frequently, and I found that it was very, very helpful, especially in times during like finals and that whole stress level, and you're stressed that whole week. And so having the CGM with me, which I found was really nice and a great reassurance. Of course, still tested and calibrated and all of that. However, my parents really liked when I wore that as well, and I found it extremely helpful during finals week. I also have met a couple really good friends who are also type 1 diabetic in college, which has been nice, especially being away from home, having those, I need to borrow whatever it may be, anything diabetes related, having someone to talk to about diabetes, or having supplies to borrow, anything like that. So if you have that opportunity, I would definitely just keep it in mind. And for me personally, my really good friends, so after orientation week, you meet your group of friends. I would tell my close friends, I would explain to them I am diabetic, just briefly let them know what it's about. My roommate knows more than probably other friends of mine, but I'm not ashamed at all, and so I'm very open with my diabetes, and so like I'd show my pump or where my glucagon shot was, which I always carry with me, and why and when they would have to use it if need be. And also explaining and showing them how I test my blood sugar. And being in nursing school, my friends were probably pretty interested compared to other students. But yeah, don't be embarrassed and be upfront, because it is important to know, especially if you're away from school, having someone who's a good friend of yours or know that you are diabetic. So also, I set up an accommodation plan through my school. And it's basically through the Office of Disabilities, and so it's basically just a piece of paper that says that I'm an official piece of paper that says I'm diabetic and I wear a pump, and it asks my professors for a permission to test if I need to, or to eat snacks during school if I need, during my class if I need to, and honestly, never a problem at all whatsoever. In college, you can do. I wasn't out of the ordinary to have your phone or to eat some food, so that was never a problem. I always felt really comfortable, and all my professors were very understanding, which was really nice and reassuring for myself. So that's a little bit about my college experience this far. I love my school. I don't regret anything. It's been a great experience, and I've learned so much. Thank you guys very much, and please ask me some questions if you have them. Thank you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
How did you ever come across the question on your mind that said, no, I don't want to go to college?
Okay, so the question was if I ever came across a point in my life where I was like, I don't want to go to college. I personally have always been very determined and set